The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Carsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And if you can't tell by my voice, this is about the third or fourth time in about 6 weeks that I've been sick. So, I don't know what bad luck spells.
It's living in Florida.
I don't know. It's something, man. I never used to get sick like this.
Something about going to Costco all the
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about
If anybody has any extra hand sanitizer, send it to Kyle's house.
So I actually, before we get into everything this week, I have a little bit of a Costco update.
God.
A new one opened up closer to my house, so I now very rarely go to the Universal one.
Oh no!
I know.
You don't drive past Universal to go to Costco anymore?
No. There's one that opened up in Claremont, which is about 20 minutes closer to me than the one up past Universal, depending on the time of day and depending on traffic. If it's great, no traffic on I-4, they're about the same distance. But I definitely
How
go
often
to the.
does that happen?
Yeah, honestly, unless I'm going first thing in the morning, it doesn't happen too often. But anyway, in an effort to conserve my voice for the later part of the show, I'll still chime in, but I'm going to pass the reins to one of you.
Yeah, we've got a huge update for Top Thrill 2. First of all, it's testing. Literally, like
actually testing,
actually launching down the track. We don't know at what speeds, but Tony posted a video on his X account, which is known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah. And you can see it's probably just like a 2 or 3 second video, just a little tease. I'm sure they're gonna have a new video coming within, I'd say, a few days or so. But the tease was there, yes, and we can see that it's testing, and obviously, there's been some people that have been, and I don't understand how, like, a right place at the right time. I don't know.
No kidding.
Someone's like looking at Top Thrill 2, because I was able to look at it across, and I posted pictures on our Facebook page, and it is breathtaking. It is beautiful. It gets lost in the skyline when you like are pretty close to the front gate, but when you're off to the side and over by Battery Park, it is really, really, really close to. So you could see like everything, and you could see that they've got the new the lights, the flashing beacon lights on the new spike tower and stuff and everything. But holy crap, it looks amazing. It's freaking testing. It's also, by the way, it is December 12th. It did start testing-ish, for like full launching, we believe, yesterday, with everything that was posted online that people were seeing and stuff and everything. But yeah, I don't know. They just completed they just completed it like less than a week ago. And it's crazy to see that, less than a week, and everything's all buttoned up, and maybe a week and a half, and they're full on testing. And I'll talk about this a little bit later. But the holiday party that Tony did actually show us some some pictures of the train kind of meandering around the track and stuff and everything.
Existing on the track.
Yeah, it wasn't in the station, or it wasn't in the transfer or storage area or anything like that. It was actually walking around the station and everything. But yeah, I don't know, Evan. What do you think? I mean, it's December, it's testing.
This has got to be the first time in Cedar Point Peninsula history that a roller coaster has ran in December.
Right, and oh my goodness, it's flying. Like I figured, like
I mean, I don't think we. Like you mentioned, right place, right time. So some people happen to be at Battery Park when this stinking thing was testing yesterday and posted video. And it doesn't seem like it's like, well, it's not making it over the original top hat yet, but like this, it's going.
It's
like
hauling.
it's going. It's It's like the first launch of a cold day of old dragster. Like it's going 100 miles an hour.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, I called Justin, our awesome announcer, and I was like, "Buddy, it's testing." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. So I'm like, "What?" I saw these videos, and I can't wait for Cedar Point to post their video because we're not going to post these videos. You can look online and try to find them.
They're everywhere. You'll be able to find them.
The when it goes up, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool! It's going up the top hat." But then I was like, it went backwards, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's going up the spike." Yep. I kid you not. I was like, if you're not excited about this at all, and you're just like, meh, whatever, that didn't get your pump, like your heart pumping, or like give you goosebumps, or be like, put a smile on your face, you're not a coaster enthusiast. No, trade in your freaking card. You're not a coaster enthusiast. I'm sorry, but it's testing in December with snow flying around like randomly a few days. Like yesterday, it snowed a little bit. Like, holy crap! And
there was a train going up, not quite over, but up the original Top Thrill Dragster top hat once again. It's like that definitely gave me chills. And I want to mention too, like, it already is going pretty high up the spike, and like it's probably at like 70-75% power. Like it's gonna make it pretty, like, I think further up the spike than any of us really thought.
I cannot wait for a back seat ride on that thing.
God.
If you get a back seat ride on that thing, you are
going to be 20-30 feet higher than the rest of the train. Yep. And then also the front seat, just looking down, we'll say 350 feet straight down, just kind of hanging there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so cool. She lives once again. It's so good to see. Mm-hmm. Top Thrill is back.
It is
almost to the public. It's almost back to the public.
Almost. We just have to wait.
Not to rush you, Cedar Point and Tony, but like if you could put out that next pit stop video like real soon, because I am antsy.
I would say probably watch the Cedar Point YouTube page, and I would say if everything goes well with testing and whatever and everything, I would assume maybe we'll have Tony standing on the midway being like, "Oh, hey, look at that." And it's just like, whee!
Yeah, I can literally see right now, like, "Welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Stop." And, well, right behind me.
Right. And it's crazy because I'm curious because, like, I'm like, what's the sound going to sound like? What is
I know.
Oh, yeah. So I'm curious.
Well,
I'm very.
Did you see when he posted on Twitter? I mean, this was literally like an hour ago. The little video of it just flying through the frame backwards. Somebody did ask, like, "Well, why didn't you turn the sound on? I want to hear what it sounds like." And Tony goes with a nice little nod to Wicked Twister. He goes, "It broke the sound barrier." I was like, "Oh, Wicked Twister."
Little Tonyisms is what I like to call it.
Yes, very much. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Evan. I don't know if you have anything more to add, but I'm super excited, super stoked. Obviously, everything's complete.
Yeah, I mean, everything's there except for the decorations, essentially, and like the queue line.
They did actually. I will actually add this later. When I talk about what Tony was talked about at the holiday party. So stay tuned because I've got some cool little nuggets that I'll share with Top Thrill 2 that he shared that just popped into my head. So.
Okay, cool.
Kyle, there was a huge announcement for Knott's Berry Farm. You want to talk a little bit about what Knott's Berry Farm in California is gonna do?
Yeah, so Knott's Berry Farm announced new for 2024, Camp Snoopy, joining Kings Island in a Camp Snoopy retheme.
Yeah.
And their headline says, "More to explore in 2024. Cross into the world of the reimagined Camp Snoopy and become an official camper. Joining Snoopy and the Peanuts gang for the camp's annual Jamboree, a fun week of camp competitions and activities. An off-road adventure, a new family roller coaster, a giant swing, and the carefree fun of summer camp bring so much to explore starting in 2024 at Knott's Berry Farm next summer. Check out these exciting details about the 6-acre reimagined Camp Snoopy, the place where the iconic Peanuts gang made its first debut outside the comic strip back when it opened in 1983. Inspired by
I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty long time. Inspired by the California High Sierras, Camp Snoopy allows campers of all ages to become full-fledged Beagle Scouts as they explore new rides, new character experiences, new entertainment, a new dining hall, camp store, plus more seating and ambiance.
Awesome.
So that's a lot to take in.
Right?
So just give us like a rundown ding of what the new rides are.
Yeah. So first up is Snoopy's Tender Paw Twister Coaster. Begin your adventure at Beagle Scout headquarters at the new Snoopy's Tender Paw Twister Coaster, where Beagle Scout Master Snoopy and his troop will take you on a new first coaster experience through the forest. Snoopy's Tender Paw Twister is the only family coaster that takes parents and kids up a lift hill and delivers a pint-sized launch, making this a first big coaster experience for everybody.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but is this not a clone of the Peppa Pig World?
You know what?
Daddy Pig's coaster or whatever?
I was just thinking that as I read it. I was like, wait a minute. Daddy Pig's coaster has a lift hill and a launch.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think this is true.
I think Knott's Berry Farm did a little oversight there, but we'll let it slide.
Yeah.
But this is a Zamperla coaster, I believe, right?
Yep.
So another, I would argue the biggest Zamperla coaster opening in Cedar Fair in 2024, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
good for Knott's.
another coaster credit, which is great.
Yes.
It's green. I like the color. It's got a bunch of
Yeah, it
Woodstock
looks
on
really cute. It looks really cute.
Um,
I think they might be a little. I think Knott's Berry Farm people might be a little jealous that they're not getting a Snoopy's Soapbox Racer style Vekoma Boomerang coaster like Kings Island, but that's okay. It looks really cute.
It's nice that it's different. It's not like
Yeah, it is different.
It's not the same thing as what you just said, which is the people will be like, oh, it's a clone. It's a clone. It's like, no, it's not.
Oh my God, it's Six Flags.
Not yet.
All right, what else are they getting?
All right, so up next is Sally's Swing Along. Sally's Swing Along is a new experience and offers a carefree break from camp life. Not your backyard variety, this supersized swing set is big enough for the entire Peanuts gang. Kids and parents can sit side by side on the giant bench swing and glide 10 feet towards the sky, back and forth, giggling and getting a taste of the good life.
I like that they put the giggling part in there.
This is just like I mean, these are like kittiest rides, and they're really quite the explanation there for what is literally just a swing ride.
It's really it's literally like it looks like they got it themed almost to like a swing set per se, and it's just a giant swing that.
And in actuality, you could probably go higher on an actual swing set.
Looks like 8 people ish can fit on that and stuff. I see an adult on there, and
it's cute. It's cute. It's a mechanical swing set.
I would ride it if I'm allowed to ride it without a kid. I'll ride it.
You look a little weird, but it's all right.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the first time. So.
And I believe there's one more ride.
Yep, one more. Well, I'm not going to talk about another ride right now. I'm just going to go in the order that it's on the website. So next up is the Camp Snoopy Theater. It's not officially summer camp until you sing songs around the campfire. At the new Camp Snoopy Theater, campers will gather under a giant, new rustic-beamed theater filled with log benches for seating that surround a large fire pit at the base of the stage. The fire pit will be lit in the evenings for special campfire entertainment. During the day, the theater will debut a new Camp Snoopy show and offer more shade and a larger stroller parking area.
Very nice. It looks very nice. I mean, it's very lot of wood going on. A lot of rustic.
Well, it is a camp. It is a camp.
makes you think that. I like it.
All right. Moving on.
All right. Next up is the Barrel Bridge and Waterfall. Campers who want to test their Beagle Scout skills and earn their merit badges will be able to explore the great outdoors at the Barrel Bridge and Waterfall area of the camp. With a brand new Lookout Terrace area, parents can relax up top or join in the fun down below as the kids navigate the bouncy, buoy-like barrel bridges to explore the cave and waterfall as Snoopy's canoe teeter-totters up above. Also, don't miss the updated dining hall with new decor and menu items, new family restrooms, and an immersive new Snoopy camp store with all the essentials needed for camp and then some.
That's awesome. I mean, it looks really cool. It almost looks like a mini like Niagara Falls kind of sort of where you're like, walking around and there's a really nice waterfall and
they are really theming this up. That's all I have to say. And I really like it.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see like a lot of the Snoopy areas and everything like they're getting kind of redone per se. I'm curious to see if maybe Cedar Point might possibly get like a redone of their Camp Snoopy and stuff
because those haven't really been touched in a while.
I don't know. I feel like Cedar Point's tiptoe into that was Forbidden Frontier, and we see how that went.
That's true. That is true.
But I'd love to be wrong because I think this is great. And lastly are three not new rides, but three new rides that are returning, or three rides that are returning. And that is Camp Snoopy's Off-Road Rally, and this is just like the 4x4s at Cedar Point. The Beagle Express, which I think is their mini train, right? I'm pretty sure. It's their mini train. And then up last is Woodstock's Airmail, which is like the Frogger theme to the Camp Snoopy letter.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Congrats to Knotts for a nice addition. It's
Absolutely.
It wasn't the Montezuma's Revenge announcement that we were unfortunately anticipating, but it also wasn't them announcing that it was opening, which is sad. So they stayed quiet on that, but nonetheless, good to see out of Knotts some really good. I don't know. I haven't been there, but I'm going to assume needed improvements to their kids area. So good for that.
Yeah, I was just there this past summer. I think it was needed for sure.
Okay. Well, before we get into our this week's game, to the second half of the Cedar Fair game series, why don't you, Carsten, give us a little rundown again, on how the holiday party, any info Tony gave, and all that good stuff.
Well, first of all,
the bulk of it.
First of all, I do want to thank everybody that came out and said hi to me. I was at the sales table and that purchased calendars, and we've got some new listeners that I was able to. I was talking to, and they said that they wanted to follow us and stuff. So shout out to them. But yeah, so it was actually it was a good turnout. Again, Tony was there and shared some tidbits of information, and a little bit of the tidbit information is one, we got to ride an actual POV of Top Thrill 2 that hasn't been released yet. Tony said it hasn't been released yet is because the park's waiting specifically to release it. I'm not exactly sure why, but they said that they have a reason why. So I'm like, okay, that's
because cool. Because they don't want people to, in the animation went up to that point on the spike and I see it testing and it's not going to that point, so it's a failure.
Yeah,
and I haven't left my mom's basement in 40 years.
So we
we
were able to ride the animation or the POV, and pretty much like it almost stops like right in the animation, like where it stops and everything. And then it was really cool to ride the spike all the way up without cutting it, and you would go all the way up, and then you would see like the park and stuff and everything. Like, whoa, that's
looking
cool.
Down on Power Tower.
Down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then going and there's interesting little tidbit is you get a little boost in the station, like a very tiny little boost. So you're like going and you could hear like the quote unquote the LSMs, and you can hear it go kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, cool. And Tony's like, yep, you get just a little teeny tiny boost in the station when you go through. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then obviously we rode down through the Top Hat and went down and finished the ride. And he's like just because everyone's you guys are coaster nerds and stuff, he's like, well, we'll ride it all the way to the very end of the station. I was like, yes, good. So we rode it all the way around. The obviously the turn into the station is very tight compared to what was there before, so it's pretty tight there. What's cool was the wall that, like, obviously there's going to be like almost like a metal see-through meshy wall or something that's gonna it's gonna divide you from the actual launch track to where the station is, kind of thing. It was actually painted all red, and don't quote me on this, but I think it actually said drivers start your engines, and which was in really cool font and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. He said the station's gonna be really, really teeny tiny, and then they're gonna have to possibly extend the platform out just a little bit past past where the actual old station used to be, which is which was really interesting. Another tidbit of information, they're still working on if the launch lights will stay on the tower. They still haven't finalized like station music, things like that.
Come on, we all know the obvious answer with the station music.
I'm just saying what I heard.
Come on.
And also, which was really cool, is they were showing us pictures. He was showing us pictures of like the train kind of moving from the station, and this like actually like not like a POV or rendering or anything. It was literally the train moving from the switch track or the and whatever. And then he also was saying that it's currently being like there's still no ride booth controls that's like set up just yet. So he said that the ride currently is actually being ran by a laptop. Now I don't know since then if they were able to install a launch panel or whatever, but so it's interesting to note that the ride currently was
as they're testing it, there's just some dude sitting like on the cement playing around on his computer.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, you want to see this? And he just like hits the space bar and it just launches. Kind of cool. So but yeah, so there was that. Also, they did say there's more details to come in the following weeks and months. He did say that anyone that got one of those keychains from Coaster Mania and stuff, to make sure that you hold it tight, and more information is going to be released on that. He did say there's going to be possibly some special previews, days, possibly. Not sure exactly what that means, if there's going to be days or if there's just going to be specific times, whatever. And then also Coaster Mania is going to obviously be on June 7th.
First Friday of June every year.
He obviously, Top Thrill 2 is going to be on the list, is what he said. He did actually share some winter chill out information that unfortunately I will not be able to disclose right now. And so just watch Cedar Point's social medias, and he hopefully with the next few weeks or so, I think he said they're going to release some more information on that, and that's all I've got to talk about with that. And yeah, so it was great. I did actually ask about if there was, because I thought there was going to be a bumper on the top. We just didn't see it in the renderings. And he did actually say that there's not going to be a bumper on top. And so I'm just like,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, I mean, in theory, I guess, they'll have it dialed in and it's not going to launch,
Nah, it'll be fine. It's just kind of funny to think about.
Yeah. So it's like, so yeah, so there's that. And yeah, I'm curious to see what the renderings will look like when the park releases more of like what the midway is going to possibly look like.
I'm really excited to see, like you said, the midway, the new gift shop or renovated gift shop, whichever it ends up being.
Yeah.
Just the ambiance of the area. Just that's what I'm really excited for, because like obviously, I mean, basically at this point we already know what it looks like, even with the spike, because they got so much of it done during the park season. So now I'm really looking forward to like the small details and how Power Tower is going to turn out. Because
exactly.
In the one picture that was floating around the internet, I honestly can't remember if it was a Cedar Point post or not, but you could see part of Power Tower's repaint done. I'm like, wow, that looks really good. The red. It's
gonna look really sharp. I can't wait to see the like I said, like, now that it's testing and stuff, it's like, well, let's move on and check out the renderings for the midway, because I'm curious. I've been very curious to see what the midway is going to look like.
Like, just all the stupid things, like where's the lockers gonna, like what's that gonna look like? The grandstand, where's the Coke Freestyle gonna end up? Like that kind of crap.
Yeah.
I always say every year that there's a list of quote unquote winter chill out announcements that happen either the day of winter chill out or like the day before. And that all seems like winter chill out announcements.
Right. So, and I would assume I mean, like maybe we'll see more renderings at the Midway by at Winter
By then,
Chill Out
yeah.
or Winter
Yep.
Chill Out. So, but yeah, so
All right. That all you got?
we'll obviously keep our eyes on Cedar Point's page and update when we're able to. So
Yep.
that's all I've got. I know that our calendars are still for sale. cprundown.com/store. Dummy me decided to forget to renew the domain for cprundown.com. So I was like, cool, because Evan's like, yeah, I want to order some calendars. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to the page and I'm like, oh, oops. And to be fair, it did say it was supposed to auto renew, and for some stupid reason, it didn't auto renew.
You probably like changed credit cards or something, and
it possibly, yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
So, but yeah, so that our site's back up. Apologize if you did try to visit it. But if you want to buy a calendar, you can still. I don't think if you order right now or days coming ahead, I don't think you'll get it before Christmas. But if you want to take up one of the pictures that's actually on our website and print out the picture, you could just be like, hey, you've got a calendar coming. It's just not here yet. It'll be here within the next week or so or something like that. So just to tie someone over that if you're getting a gift. So really appreciate it. Really love that all our calendars completely sold out at the holiday party, and then some. I actually have to order more. So shout out to everyone that bought a calendar, but that's all I've got.
Good. All right. Well, as said earlier, we're going to do the more positive version of what we did last week. Cedar Fair Santa this week. We're going to give each park a ride. But before we get into that, as we were talking last week, we did ask that if you guys had any ideas for Cedar Fair Grinch or Cedar Fair Santa to send them in. And shout out to Brian. He sent us a very long email.
Yes.
With some of his opinions, and I will, just because he was the only one, I will go and give kind of some detail of what he said. I'm going to go through his Grinch picks right now just to get them out of the way, and then as each park that he only did for Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Kings Dominion, but as each of those parks come up for Cedar Fair Santa, I'll also read his along with mine. But so real quick, his Grinch picks for Cedar Point was Super Himalaya. He agreed with me. He said, I agree that ride isn't a good fit for the new theming of that area, and other flat rides would be better. I laughed when I read his Kings Island one. He said, in Vertigo, it's a terrible ride. Enough said. And then this one kind of surprised me because I like this ride, but he said for Kings Dominion, Apple's Apple. It's surprisingly rough and a wild mouse with a 54-inch unaccompanied height requirement seems to defeat the purpose of a family coaster. I did not know that had a 54-inch unaccompanied height requirement. And Brian, I guess I need to go back to Kings Dominion and ride Apple's Apple again because it was really smooth the last time I rode it. But all right. So we'll do the same thing as last week, but now we're going to be all nice and jolly and happy and give everybody rides this time. I going in the same order as last week just for simplicity, except I moved Cedar Point to the end because I didn't think California's Great America was a great way to round things out. So let's save the rest of Cedar Fair, the best for last, and do Cedar Point last. So I will kick it off with Carowinds, unless you guys want to change order, but
nope.
Let's roll into this. I wrote them down because I knew I'd forget what I was thinking like 10 minutes later. All right, Carowinds. I'm going with a GCI Titan track coaster, much like Zambezi Zinger, over where the old Thunder Canyon ride was.
Okay.
That area has been vacant and they need a good wooden coaster, and Hurler sucks. So, but I also feel like they're not going to get rid of Hurler because they're doing like a lot of work on it. So let's just get a brand new Woody. That's what I'm wooden style. I mean, I know the Titan track is steel mostly, but you know what I mean. Still the same idea, same style.
Love it. I'm going to say, or wait, no, it's Kyle. Kyle? No, it's me. It's me.
Doesn't really matter. Just something.
I don't remember the order from last week, but yeah, it's me. No, I'm going a little crazy. Okay. I'm not actually adding a ride. I'm not actually adding a coaster. I'm actually fixing Afterburn up. Not that it needs any fixing up. I'm adding a ton of theming elements. I'm adding flames. I'm adding like crazy fire. I'm adding like inside those tunnels. It's going to be like misting, and there's going to be a misting tunnel one. There's going to be some fog machine, like big
because
fog
this goes along with their new aeronautical
Yeah.
landing area. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that
so
a lot.
completely revamp of it, maybe painting it a different color or repainting it. And yeah, that's
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
I am fully on board with that.
Kyle, what do you got?
Kind of like Carsten, I am adding to aeronautical landing. I am going to add a S&S 4D free fly, and I'm going to theme it to pilot training.
Oh,
that would be good.
Kyle, do you have insider information?
I do not.
That's great.
That seems like very legitimate. Like that could definitely happen.
I hope it does.
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot too. That'd be
Kyle
fun.
coming out with some heat starts.
Jeez, that's hard to follow. No.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot, especially since like it wouldn't be the first time Cedar Fair worked with S&S on a 4D free fly because King's Dominion just got one. I like that a lot.
That's great. Wow.
Speaking of King's Dominion, real quick, our friend Brian, he had the idea of a B&M family invert for King's Dominion. It's only fair that if I take out a family coaster that I replace it with something that looks better. These look like they can be a lot of fun for kids and enthusiasts alike. He didn't mention this, but it also could, be a loose nod to Volcano, the last coaster. So now for me, if you guys remember last week, I took out Backlot Stunt Coaster, but I kind of teased more to come.
Yeah.
And in the same kind of in the same vein as Carsten with Afterburn, I'm gonna take Backlot Stunt Coaster and retheme it to Jungle X because it's kind of it is in that area of the park and it doesn't really fit with its theming, and make it like a Jeep off-road in the jungle themed ride instead of a stunt car ride, which I gotta admit I've totally ripped that idea off of plenty of internet forums, but I really like that idea and I think they should do it. So that's what I'm going with.
I like it.
And Jungle X is so well themed, so I could really see them tapping into that more and more times in the future with current rides and new rides and yada, yada, yada.
Mine's going to be a little bit off the wall. I'm actually going to be adding the very first one that is in any park. I'm adding an RMC Wild Moose.
I like it.
Wild Moose. Yep.
Wild Moose.
It's obviously like a wild mouse coaster, and the reason I'm adding a wild moose is because Apple's is Zapples goes away. So yeah, the following year.
Did you say Apple's Apple was going to get torn out too?
And I don't remember which one it was, but yeah.
Well, all right. Fair enough.
Yep. Kyle, what do you got?
So I'm going to add to the water park, but I'm going to add a non-traditional ride to the water park. I want to add a Zamperla Big Waves in the water park.
Hey, you want to explain what that is? I mean, I think we know, but
I'm pretty sure Adam talked about it when he was on the show. But for those who aren't familiar, it's, for lack of a better term, just kind of like a mini drop tower. And then on the bottom, it drops into a recessed well of water, and it has like a giant hammer on it. So it just shoots this obnoxiously huge wave, kind of like the Shoot the Chutes. You just don't need as much room because it's vertical, not Shoot the Chutes.
I like it. That would be. I really do want to see. I think they do. There's a couple of them, like maybe overseas or whatever. But
yeah, I don't think there's any stateside yet.
Yeah, I would love to see that in person.
Great.
All right. Moving on to Dorney Park. Just keeping on the Zamperla train. I am going with a Zamperla Nebulas, which is, as you guys know, the infamous my tummy no feel good ride for me. But I do think with Iron Menace being built and that the theming of Iron Menace with the just industrial thing that's going on there, the Zamperla Nebulas also kind of just naturally have that kind of theming to them with the, like, I think one of them, I forget where, is literally named Gear Spin. So to me, it just seems very obvious that they could fit that in with Iron Menace.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of room for a flat ride of that nature right there by Iron Menace. So that's what I'm going with.
I like it. I'm going actually to, because I remember last week I was getting rid of, I believe, wow, I don't know where it went. So sorry. I was getting rid of I believe Thunder Canyon is what I was getting rid of.
I wrote them down.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you did that. But I'm actually adding something brand new.
No, you're getting rid of Possessed because you're a weirdo.
Oh, Possessed. Okay. Sorry. There was one water ride. I can't remember. Well, anyway, I'm getting rid of Possessed, but I'm adding a brand new from Zamperla, a double heart coaster. And pretty much it looks like a heart, but like it's obviously double heart. So it launches in the bottom, and it does.
If for those of you that are familiar with the Busch Gardens and SeaWorld parks, it's the Zamperla version of the Tempesto coaster or the Tigris or what's the one at Electric Eel, I think, is in San Diego. It's like one of those.
Yes. And that's what I'm going to replace Possessed with, since it's got the electricity over there, and makes sense to put something.
And that would be a better ride than Possessed. Sorry,
right?
I never liked the impulse coasters, so I think that's a good option.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kyle, what's up? What do you got?
All right. So for me, I am going to go a little bit of a different route. I'm not giving them a coaster, and I'm not giving them a flat ride. I am giving them a full-blown train, like the ones at Kings Island and Cedar Point.
Ooh. Okay.
Because right now they have a miniature monorail and maybe a miniature train, but not like a full-blown real steam engine, yada yada yada. Okay.
I like that.
And there's a lot of at least over kind of like behind Hydra and Demon Drop and the Log Flume. There could be a very nice train ride with a lot of nice views.
Because that is one of my favorite.
Outside the box.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do on a hot theme park day is ride the train.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Very good idea.
And I remember last time I was at Dorney, it was super hot, and that little monorail did not help with cooling down. It made things worse.
It's like so claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to Worlds of Fun now. If you could remember last week, I got rid of their Boomerang coaster, and in its place, sticking the Zamperla really likes us. We're going to stick with Zamperla and just get a flat ride package, much like Carowinds did with Aeronautical Landing. And it's going to be right there by Zambezi Zinger, where Boomerang was. And it's going to be a full-blown immersive themed land with Zambezi Zinger. And they're going to get a bunch of Zamperla flat rides.
Okay. I like it. I, on the other hand, I believe this is, quote me if I'm wrong, this is where I got rid of the water ride, right? Or no?
Probably. I know we got rid of a bunch of water rides. You got rid of Bamboozler, the Roundup ride. The Roundup, yes.
The flat, okay. So
it doesn't need to correlate. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we got rid of that. Sorry, folks. But we're coming out with a brand new huge water park edition. We're coming out with a triple. This isn't even offered but I'm working with ProSlide, whoever who makes the water parks. I'm going a little rogue a little, and we're doing a triple launched rocket blast water coaster. Anyone wants to know kind of what that's about? If you go on Holiday World's website, they actually have their brand new what is it called?
Cheetah Chase.
Yes, it's just like Cheetah Chase, only it's more themed to Peanuts, and you're trying to outrun you
got the Charlie Brown slide, you have the Lucy slide.
You're trying to outrun there's I don't even know, they're you're trying to just outrun each other and you're trying to race each other. But there's like
instead of 2 of them, there's 3 of them.
Right, exactly. So you can pick between Charlie Brown, Woodstock, and Linus is the third one.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Snoopy. Yeah, Charlie Brown, Woodstock, and Snoopy, and you just kind of race through there and do your own thing. Kyle, what do you have?
This is very specific.
Yeah,
I'm holding you to that one.
All right. Well,
mine's gonna take a little bit of magic because it's not quite possible. But somehow I'm either going to bring Von Roll out of whatever, out of bankruptcy, or
out of the grave,
or I'm going to reverse engineer one of their space towers, and I'm going to plop that right there.
Ooh, okay.
Like
I
the old,
that.
like the old space spiral at Cedar Point or the Sky Tower at SeaWorld Orlando.
Yeah.
I did not know Von Roll made those. I thought that was
they did.
I thought their thing was the sky rides.
Oh, they were also the sky rides.
Okay.
I thought they only stuck with the sky rides. That's interesting. The more you know.
Yeah.
Yep. More you know.
The older I get and the more parks I visit, the more I appreciate relaxing rides and rides that don't
Shout
try
out to the Kisses Tower at Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Right.
Although that one was a little hot. Not gonna lie, their air conditioning wasn't working.
And the windows are like a weird shape. Well, they're shaped like Hershey's Kisses, but they bow outwards and they aren't really good at being windows. And they kind of make you feel sick looking through them. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a note because I'm looking it up. Von Roll did not manufacture the actual towers. They manufactured and designed the cabins.
Interesting. So who made the towers then?
Cedar Point
Just
Space Spiral and Astroworld's Astroneedle were built by Willy Buher Space Towers Company of Switzerland, with cabins built by Von Roll Holding.
Interesting. Very interesting. That is some theme park trivia that I did not know.
Eventually down the line, Von Roll acquired that company from Switzerland.
And then they started doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Well.
Okay.
Moving on, Knott's Berry Farm. We know they just announced the Planet Snoopy or Camp Snoopy edition. But in the complete 180 of 360 of last week, no, 180 would be the correct term. 180 of last week, just to ensure that I'm right one way or the other. I'm going to say they're bringing back. They're going to announce that they're working on Montezuma's Revenge again, and it's going to come back, and everybody's going to be happy. Last week I said they're going to close it, so I'm covering all the bases.
I like that. That is very interesting. Well,
because I'm very 50-50 on that situation. I have no idea what the heck they're doing or what is going through their heads. So I might as well just cover my butt here.
Well, I am going. I remember which one I got rid of last year or last week. I got rid of Pony Express. Wasn't a big fan of it. I just was kind of meh. Well, we're adding an awesome, cool, brand new water ride, and it's called Surf Rider by nonetheless Intamin.
Oh.
Yep.
And are you thinking of the Six Flags Over Georgia's building one of the launching like spike Intamin water ride things that are I can't even explain it. It's like Wicked Twister, but a water ride.
It's pretty much like a U, and the seats rotate, and then you just kind of you obviously go through it, and you get soaked and you have a good time because when I was there in California, it was hot, but
and they only have a log flume, don't they? But
we're gonna have it themed. We're not just gonna have that. We're gonna have it themed so like being almost like a mini volcano kind of. That's like over there, and we're gonna have like flames and fire and the whole 9 yards. So that's what I'm thinking.
All right.
Kyle, what do you got for Knott's?
So if I'm running the show at Knott's Berry Farm, I am gonna call up RMC, but not for the reason that you two are thinking. I'm gonna make 2 phone calls. The first one is gonna be to RMC, and the second one is gonna be to Silver Dollar City to poach all of their creative directors for the new Fire in the Hole. And I am building a new RMC Fire in the Hole style family coaster themed to the Ghost Town. And I'm putting it in Ghost Town Alive.
That is a fantastic idea.
I like that.
Especially being right next door to Disneyland, essentially, they do not have enough dark rides.
Yeah.
That is true. They have the Calico Mine Train and then the Berry Tales, whatever, shooting
Tales.
Dark ride.
Yep. And I don't think there is another Cedar Fair park. And feel free to jump in and attack me if you think I'm wrong, but I would be willing to bet that the Knott's Berry Farm history is richer than Cedar Point's, and I don't think they play into that nearly enough as they should. I love Ghost Town Alive. I think everything they have there is fantastic, but I think they need to capitalize on that more.
All right.
Agreed.
I mean, for a chain that does not do theming super heavily, and like I said, being located in that California market, I think they could really play into that and do something special.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Kyle's the winner so far with these.
Fair, right? It's coming out with the heat.
Some different but really good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm really thinking this year.
Good. I like it. It's creative.
So now we're going to go up north to Canada's Wonderland, and I am going to put in a B&M surf coaster. Now,
ooh, okay.
I know those probably aren't the capacity monsters that Canada's Wonderland needs, but they did have an old Togo stand-up coaster, and I mean, obviously it was a terrible ride, so they didn't really need a lot of capacity, but I don't know. They've gotten away with it before, so we could do another stand-up coaster one that doesn't suck, and because, I mean, I love Pipeline at SeaWorld, and it'll be, again, kind of a nice homage to maybe not a beloved ride, but a classic ride that was probably a big part of their history. So
I like it. I'm going with Zamperla, and I'm adding a brand new, because I got rid of Backlot Stunt Coaster just to get rid of it. Not replacing it with a coaster, but replacing it with a brand new family area. We're gonna have nebulas from Zamperla. It'll all be from Zamperla. There'll be also like a lot of crazy just flat rides, just
like Aeronautica Landing or
yeah. Because Canada's Wonderland's like one of the few Cedar Fair parks that I've been to that have awesome, crazy, high adrenaline flat rides, and it's going to continue with the removal of backlots.
They love their flat rides up there, so. I did almost just kind of put down the cop-out answer of I don't know, with Canada's Wonderland, they're going to find some crazy-ass flat ride and put that in. But I decided not to. But I like your idea.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So I have only ever spent 2 days at Canada's Wonderland, and I know that they have the Splashworks park, but I don't recall them having any water rides. Am I right about that? Do either of you know?
I haven't been there, but I can't think of any water rides in the theme park.
The only thing I can think of is they call it Riptide, and it's like, what was that one at Kings Island that was in the box, the crypt? It's like that.
They have water underneath it.
So anyway, it gets hot up there, so I am giving them a mock power splash.
Ooh. All right.
And I know that their capacity is not great, but at a park like Canada's Wonderland, where you have so many different offerings, I think it's fine.
Yeah. And for those that don't know what a mock power splash is, it's the mock rides version of what Carsten was saying for Knott's Berry Farm, but from Intamin.
So I went ahead and fact-checked myself, and there is a Whitewater Canyon rafting ride.
There is?
There is.
Well, I guess that goes to show, like, they still need another water ride because you can't really think of one offhand.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, that works.
Right, moving on.
All right, let's go to Valley Fair. And I think last year I was kind of joking that I don't know if this park would stick around, but I'm feeling generous now that I see Dorney got a B&M dive coaster. And Valley Fair is a similar park to Dorney. So we're giving Valley Fair, in the same vein as Iron Menace, a B&M dive coaster. of similar size. We're not going to go Valraven or Yukon Striker, but an Iron Menace style dive coaster.
I like that. That's not too bad.
Be like Abominable Snowman or something because it's up north.
So I know I got rid of Delirious, which was the Larson Loop. Which
Yep.
They don't even categorize it on Cedar Fair's website as a roller coaster. Just called this is an actual thrill ride.
Because it is not a roller coaster, Six Flags.
So anyway, I am actually going to hire Ride Entertainment, and I'm going to put a state-of-the-art Skyfly in there. And what a state-of-the-art Skyfly is pretty much it almost looks like a fly swatter, but it like rotates back and forth, and you kind of like fly like a bird and stuff, and you control your own like how you want. It's got like hydraulics, it's got really cool lighting package with it, and
is this
fly back and forth.
I'm sorry for really kind of cutting you off. Is this, I can't think of, Canada's Wonderland has one of these. Is it called Skyhawk there?
It's called Skyhawk there, yeah. It's kind of like that. I've never personally been on one of these, but I think it'd be really freaking fun. And it's going to be themed to planes. So, yeah.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Kyle?
So I'm going in a similar direction of Evan. I am also going to give them a dive coaster. However, mine's not going to come from B&M because I think they're a dime a dozen, and I don't think they're all that great. Some of them are really good, but a lot of them are just meh. Like, they're solid. They're not great. They're good. They're not great. I'm calling up Gerstlauer again, and I'm either cloning Hang Time or I'm doing a custom layout. I love Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. I think it is so much fun, and I would love to see that thing just cloned across the chain. I would have no problem with it.
Yeah.
And talk about cool lighting package.
Exactly.
So, good one. All right. Moving on to Kings Island, and I believe this is one that we had an email in on. Yes. And kind of, he and I agree. He said Kings Island Santa, a multi-launch coaster. Maverick is one of my favorite rides, and while it seems like Cedar Fair and Intamin still aren't on speaking terms, other companies might be able to build a multi-launch coaster with snappy transitions and speed. And my answer for Kings Island was a mock launching coaster in the old plot of Vortex. So, yeah, for the same reasons that our listener said. So,
I like that. So I'm actually not adding a coaster or a thrill ride. I'm actually going old school, and I know Kings Island's been kind of like on the old school and bringing back, old rides and things like that. But we're gonna have it longer because obviously the park is bigger, but and there might be 2 stations for it. But I'm gonna contact Von Roll or whoever that can make it, and we're gonna make a sky ride. We're gonna have a brand new sky ride, and it's gonna go where the Eiffel Tower used, or where the Eiffel Tower was, where it used to be, the old sky ride. And if anyone wants to see old pictures of Kings Island with the sky ride,
as close to the old layout as possible. That's what you're saying.
At this point, you would probably just have to go to Cedar Point with a really big backpack and start stealing parts. And then when Cedar Point catches on, you're gonna have to come down to Busch Gardens, Tampa, and start stealing parks. Which, by the way,
Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yeah, and then Six Flags Great Adventure. Which, by the way, if anyone listening is local to Florida, like I am, Busch Gardens has been teasing the imminent return of their sky ride, which I cannot wait for.
Yay! That was such a fun sky ride. I liked
that. Was closed back in February when I was there.
Yeah, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, Evan, it's been closed. It's been closed for years.
Jeez. Well, good on them for not giving up on it.
Yeah.
Well, we're bringing a brand new one in 2024. Kyle, what do you got?
At this point, the Busch Gardens one probably is brand new with all the new parts it's probably got.
Right.
So, I've gone on record that Kings Island is one of my favorite parks. It is far and beyond the park that I miss the most, not living in Ohio anymore. I miss Cedar Point, don't get me wrong, but man, I miss Kings Island. I was heartbroken when they took out Vortex. And I know not many people were, but I loved that ride. I have a little bit of a higher pain tolerance when it comes to those things. So I am calling RMC and we are going to put a single rail where Vortex once stood. And since I think RMC are the only ones crazy enough to do it, we're going to try to recreate an arrow looper from an RMC single rail.
Ooh.
Oh my God, that would be insane. In a good way. In a good way.
That'd be interesting. Okay. That'd be really long too. Wow.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
The length isn't so much of a factor here, just like the crazy loops and dives
Just
and
have a ton of inversions.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Stuff.
No arguments for me. I want something in that plot of land because I'm really sick of looking at it.
I just think that would play with the terrain really well too.
Yeah,
You'll just have
absolutely.
to wait. You'll just have to wait for next year to see what I have planned for Kings Island because we're saving up money.
Yeah, we're building the sky ride, not anything big, according to Carsten.
Yep.
Oh well. maybe the station could be where Vortex was, and we'll just call it.
Yeah.
All right, Michigan's Adventure. I'm going to go kind of the same route as Kyle did with Valley Fair, and I'm going to put in a hang time style Gerstlauer Eurofighter coaster. Because it's not so crazy big and expensive that it just doesn't fit in Michigan's Adventure, but oh my God, would that be a crowd pleaser for that park? That would be just like mind blowing for locals to that place that don't go anywhere besides Michigan's Adventure. So
mine's going to be mind blowing to where I said I was going to get rid of
Shivering
Timbers. Yeah. And obviously we're contacting RMC. We're getting them there. And we're not just building a crazy RMC coaster. We're building the world's tallest and fastest RMC coaster to where it's going to be over 300 feet high.
We're going to do a Giga RMC at Michigan's Adventure.
Yep. We're going crazy and big.
All right. Sure. I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that's probably not gonna happen.
No, but
all right.
I mean, you never know. I mean, because I remember when a Shivering Timbers opened up and it had like a few records and stuff and everything when it so
It did.
we want to draw people. We want to draw people that are from Ohio, like you and I and everyone around, and be like, oh, I really want to ride that coaster.
I mean, truthfully, they don't really even need to go with a Giga. They just need to say tallest and fastest hybrid coaster and make it like 240 feet.
Yeah.
But all right, Kyle. I'm sure you're going to be a little more reasonable.
I'm not. Well, yes and no. I think I might have said this last year. I don't remember, but I think I did.
I actually do have last year's. I didn't have last year's Grinch, but I do have last year's.
Okay,
Santa,
so
because I wanted to compare year to year.
All right, so after I talk, let me know if this is true. I am giving them new concrete, and we're going to complete the park. We're going to make it a full circuit, so you don't have to walk 3/4 of the way back around like you do now.
I didn't write it down, but I do think you did say that last year.
I think I did.
You did also mention a family launch coaster last year.
Huh, interesting. This year they're just getting concrete.
We went from a full circuit and a launch coaster to just concrete.
Yep.
Because they got to save up for Giga RMC.
Yeah, I'm mad that they didn't do that last year. So now I'm getting rid of their coaster budget, and it's all going to concrete.
If you're gonna add concrete, you're gonna have to add sewers and electrical and all that fun stuff. So
so we'll need that budget anyway, so they don't get one now.
Yeah. It's expensive. It's expensive to have that. Oh gosh. Anyway.
All right.
What do you got for California?
I'm gonna give them a new lease on life. I'm gonna say thanks to the merger to Cedar Fair and Six Flags. For one reason or another, they're gonna come out and say, "Guess what? We're staying open." That's what they're getting.
I was also gonna say that, but then also I was gonna say that they're gonna get a lot of park improvements, like new pathways. We're also putting in actual, like, maybe not actual stations, but close enough to actual stations for the.
Let's just put a roof on our stations. Let's start
for the
there.
coasters that are there, that don't have actual roofs for stations, and we're gonna change everything around, and we are gonna stay open 365 days of the year and not close partially during the winter.
All right.
Kyle? I am going to give them a mega water park expansion. I'm talking like double the size. I know they just did not too long ago when they rebranded, but kind of like you guys hinted to, we don't really know the future of this park, and it's very possible that this might get closed down because there's not a need for two amusement parks in that market very close to each other. However, if they're a killer water park, then they have another chance at life.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Right.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same vein as Cedar Fair was going with when they bought Juggle Lake and built Wildwater Kingdom.
Yep. But hopefully this one makes it.
Yes, and hopefully the dry park doesn't close.
All right.
All right, moving on. Last but not least, of course, Cedar Point. Our listener did write in with a Cedar Point one, and if for those that are not aware, the Loch Ness Monster Classic Aero Looping Coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg is getting a complete retract, or not complete, but most of its ride circuit is being retracked with Premier Rides.
I am so excited. I cannot wait.
Yes. So Magnum, our very historic aero coaster, he is saying is also going to get a retracking and refurbishing treatment. So I love that idea. Although I also don't mind Magnum being rough because I don't know. I just feel like it should be rough because it's the identity it has. But I like it. I went a little more down to earth. And Carsten, you probably remember me saying this when the park was open. Whenever we'd ride Wild Mouse, I'd look at that area right next to Wild Mouse along the lake and say, there needs to be a flat ride there, not just grass. And we're going to put in a Zamperla Nebulous because I just think that would look awesome in the boardwalk next to the Grand Pavilion.
That would be, yeah. I mean,
that's a reasonable addition after Top Thrill 2. I feel like they're not going to build Top Thrill 2 and then in 2025 be like, hey guys, I'm going to build a 400-foot B&M Strata coaster now.
Right.
So they're gonna go back to the boardwalk and keep up with it.
I like it. I'm going to add actually to the water park, and I'm going to add a lot. I'm going to add a lot of new slides. But the big slide that we're going to add is from Pro Slide. It's called the Tornado Wave 60. Pretty much, it's like a big ramp that you go down, you go in a tunnel and stuff and everything, and then you go up a giant like wall, and it's like spraying water down, and you go on this like 5 or 6 person raft, and you go all the way up it, and then you go back down, and you go back into a splash pool.
It's kind of like a giant half pipe.
Yeah, it's like a curved wall kind of thing. But yeah, like a half.
I think I've ridden similar. I'm thinking of the Zumbizi Bay in Columbus.
Yes.
They have a smaller version of what you're talking about, just like a 2-person raft.
Yeah,
but those are fun. Those are very fun.
Yeah, so this will be, it'll attract a ton more people to the water park. Yeah.
And God, that water park needs some love.
Yeah,
needs some bigger, more modern slides.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be the start. So
good. Okay, Kyle, wrap up our holiday game season.
All right. So to round us out, if I'm in the driver's seat at Cedar Point, I was at IAPA this year, and something caught my eye. It wasn't a new ride. It wasn't a new attraction. We're Cedar Point. We have plenty of those, especially with Top Thrill 2. We're good. I'm looking for a way to keep people on the peninsula after dark. We tried with the whole Cedar Point Nights thing. That went to the wayside. And now, besides the height of the summer season, when they have the big stage show, there's not really much to keep people there, kind of right as the park closes and at night. So anyway, much in the vein of fun fireworks in 50, I am building a kick-ass drone and fireworks show to be played out on the beach every night to synchronize music. And then I am going to sell tickets to the Grand Pavilion for a dessert viewing party. I'm going to take a page right out of Kings Island's playbook.
Okay.
Jeez. Kyle for the win.
I think Kyle won the day. With
I like Kyle.
That and all of them.
Kyle's a good Santa.
I know.
Kyle was a thoughtful Santa.
I was.
I feel like we were more basic Santas, you and I, Carsten.
Yeah. Or we were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a Nebula 360. Like, and Kyle's like, no, we're gonna do like a.
Kyle put some serious thought into this, and I appreciate that.
I had some pretty basic answers,
and I agree.
But
that was good. That's really good. Like Cedar Point, if you're listening, like hint, like that would be freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that would be a very good idea.
Logistically, I don't know if it could take place over the water unless the drones took off on a cornered off part of the beach and then maneuvered out over the water.
They probably could down by where they shoot off the 4th of July fireworks, down by Gatekeeper.
Probably.
If not, it could still be over the beach, like, where they shoot off like those fireworks and stuff. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and the only thing I was trying to still factor in is one of the things that made Kings Island so great with that show was not only the fireworks and drones, but the fact that everything on I Street was so lit up. And I was trying to think of a comparable spot at Cedar Point to hold that, where we could see depth and lights and lasers, and I just don't think that exists at the moment. So I feel like the next best spot is out on the beach.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
That's really good. That'd be fun. Yeah. Sign me up.
I like that.
I'm a big show.
That a lot.
Good stuff.
Like I said, you really put some thought into this. I mean, before, when I first wrote down my list to show how not thoughtful I was, so I think I put 2 Zamperla Nebulas in across the chain. I think I had 6 before, because they do make sense in a lot of cases, but I'm like, oh my God, all right, let's back off on these.
Only 6 flags.
Yeah, but those rides are very popular now, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know I did give some throw rides and some coasters, but my thought this year was, let's think about everybody and not just the people who ride the big coasters and throw rides.
Absolutely. And I think, in all honesty, that is where the parks are heading. Mm-hmm. At least that's what they've shown in recent years. So
yeah.
Let's say, if you guys want to play along as well, feel free to email us, just like how Brian emailed us. And what would you give your home park if it's not Cedar Point, or if it is Cedar Point, whatever,
or if it's one of the Six Flags parks? I mean,
exactly. Yeah. Feel free to email us.
We're not gonna do this with the Six Flags parks, at least this year. Maybe we'll throw them in next year, but we're all family now. So let's hear it. Well,
But yeah. I mean, yeah.
The marriage is scheduled. We're just we're engaged. That's what it is.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap things up this week. Be sure to tune in next week. Are we going to have a show next week before I say that?
I don't know. I think this is a good spot to wrap it up for the holidays.
Great. Be sure to tune in whenever we put out another show.
See you in 2024.
Yeah. Hopefully, if we don't talk to you, happy holidays, happy New Year. That's all I got.
Yep. See you in 2024. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Yada, yada, yada. See you in 2024.
And make sure you share it with all your friends. Happy New Year. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you guys on the Midway.
All right. That's going to do it. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.